Hi, welcome to another episode of the Naina Redhu Experience. Let us start on a good note. There is news that Oxford University has developed a vaccine. I mean, they had been working on a vaccine, and apparently, it has shown good results in the latest paper that has been published about the vaccine. So, we do have some good news coming in and something to look forward to. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh God, Oxford, England, etc., etc. And I was like, wait, the Britishers are going to save us again. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay. Okay. I am talking about the AMA that I had yesterday. So this is the 20th July AMA. I am answering questions every Monday on my Instagram stories. These are mostly related to photography, brand building, etc. So let's get started. Question: how do you get more potential clients as your followers for a not so camera friendly person? My answer: talking to the camera is similar to talking to another human being. If you can do the latter, then you can do the former. It is okay to fumble, it is okay to say oops and not edit it out of the video. If still photographs and posing in them bothers you, do video. At the same time, you don't have to be in front of the camera all the time. Maybe once a week or even once a month. As a consumer, I want to know who is making the product or providing the service. I want to connect with other human beings. Purchasing a product/service IMO is usually need based. But if I can connect with you personally, I am also likely to add the connect based purchase to the need based. I'm more likely to buy from friends or acquaintances. You cannot force anyone to follow you or buy from you, obviously. Most won't even follow you, let alone buy from you. If you can't even say hello first, then how can you expect someone to say hello back to you? Your art and your work deserve being put in front of the world. If that means putting yourself in front of the world, do it. You don't have to be friends with the camera. The camera is just one tool to help you make friends with real people. Yeah, I mean, look at me. I mess up all the time. I say weird stuff. I try to keep it short, but there's only so much value that you can add. If you keep thinking, oh my God, what are people going to think? Like, am I adding value? You can't really think of that. You have to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Start somewhere and then you'll figure out what works for you. I think, my first podcast episode in 2015. It's taken me 5 years to come to episode number 100 because I barely did anything. I was not consistent. Literally this year is when I have gotten consistent. And well, I suppose in part thanks to COVID. Just get in front of it. I mean, you'll get people who say, oh, your hair are weird. Why didn't you get your teeth fixed? That never goes away. It doesn't matter if you're in front of the camera or not. It will never go away. All right. Next question. Can you recommend a good tripod for DSLR cameras? Oh, I said my answer, no. Hear me out. There are too many factors that determine such a purchase, and I will need to know more before I can comment. Here are some criteria to think of when looking for a tripod. Are you shooting indoors or outdoors? If outdoors, buy something that's heavy and will be more expensive than an indoor tripod. Are you using it for regular photography work for clients or only for your own daily needs for things like Instagram, etc.? If the latter, then buy a cheap tripod to get started, like $1,500. You will need a counterweight to help balance the weight of the camera depending on how big your DSLR is. So that is another factor to consider. Are you going to need to shoot flat lays where the camera needs to be parallel to the ground? Then get a tripod with a ball head so that you can hang the camera any which way you like. I've also included a link to an article about the 10 different types of tripod heads. Those are just tripod heads. And I've included a link in the blog post and you can read it there. The description on the YouTube and the show notes will only have the questions that people asked so that you can decide if you want to listen to the podcast. So always check the show notes if you think there's something relevant for you or not. Right, next question. Hi, I really admire your work and especially your work ethic. Just wanted to know what laptop do you use? Oh boy. My laptop is 3 years and 10 days old today, which was on the 20th of July. I ordered it on the 10th of July in 2017. It was an Asus ZenBook Pro, blah, 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 15.6 inch Ultrabook, 512 GB SSD, 16 GB DDR3 RAM, etc. Obviously, that laptop is no longer available. There is another one which is available, which is a little more expensive, but it has some insane features. I have linked to that, so you can check out the blog post, and there's a link included. Next question. What is your strategy in growing your brand? My answer: if I could fit the answer in one Instagram story, I wouldn't have entrepreneurs signing up for my workshops and hiring me for consulting calls. Jokes aside, as always, I start with goal kya hai? Different approaches for different goals. I wanted to sleep well at night, have time to spend with my family and friends, and I wanted to do the things that I love. I didn't necessarily want to be a millionaire. I wasn't particularly interested in legacy. My brand dies with me. I wanted to be able to experiment and have fun. Everything I do is aligned with these things, and that is how I grow my brand. Whatever I do, photos, videos, what I write, blog, etc., is coming from a place of me wanting to continue with my goals. Make and capture, plan and publish, engage and listen, establish authority, re-look at goal kya hai, repeat. Always learning, adapting and changing my mind. Next question. What are the hardware elements needed to start a podcast? Oh my god, so the first 100 episodes of my podcast were literally recorded on a mobile phone. The selfie camera and the audio which is available on the phone, I didn't even have an external speaker. These days I'm using a Snowball mic, which also I have written about on my blog. I've had the mic since 2016, but I'm only actually using it now. Right, those were the questions that I got this week. There were a couple of others, the usual Indian men asking what my hairstyle is called, if I can show them all my hair, etc., etc. I don't think those people will ever get to see the responses because I immediately block them, because I don't understand how that is bloody relevant. The other question that I do get sometimes, but I've rarely ever responded to, is a lot of people have asked me how I make my brooches. They want specific details. What paints do I use? What brands do I use? How do I get the final polished finish? Where do I source the wood from? Where do I source the magnets from? Basically, they want to know a step-by-step approach and how they can replicate my brooches. I never respond to those questions because I do not understand how someone can even ask anybody something like that. As an artist, this is something that I have created over a period of 3 to 4 years of hard work, experimentation, and money I have spent trying out different materials and seeing what works for me, the kind of quality that I am okay with, that I would not like to pass on to my client unless I am completely satisfied with it. So this is not something that I am going to share with you for any reason whatsoever. I have also had someone write to me on email and say that they would like permission for them to replicate my art only for personal use. Art doesn't work like that. I mean, honestly, I can never give you permission for that because this is something that I came up with. It is a distinctive style. I really don't understand how people can ask such a question in the first place. Anyway, so that was the Naina Mama series. Naina Mondays Ask Me Anything. These are the questions that I got. I got a few more which I didn't think really fit the bill, or I honestly couldn't answer them in one Instagram story. If you want detailed business consulting advice, if you want me to review your Instagram profile professionally, all details are available on workshopsbynaina.com. Check that out. If something is not in stock, sign up for the newsletter. As soon as it is launched, the newsletter mailing list are the first set of people who get to know about these launches. I am off for a short vacation, a very, very much needed, deserved, desperate vacation. And I will be back next week. I will still be available to answer questions on Instagram on next Monday. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Naina Radio Experience. Bye and take care.